Hello and welcome. Today on the channel we are going to be making this elevated garden box. I wanted one for myself, so I thought why not make it, put it on here. But I'm gonna get right to it, tell you what you need, tell you what we're doing, how we're doing it, and yeah, ready, set, go. Start by cleaning your workspace. You know, you don't have to do this. This is just something I highly recommend when building or doing any DIY project. The more organized you can be, just in general, the smoother things will go. After I cleared them up, I pulled out some folding tables, grabbed an air compressor, my chop saw, and the lumber. You'll see I have some really long pieces. To cut some cost, I buy the lumber longer, rip it down the middle to make our 2x4s 2x2s. Technically 1.5 by 1.5. Here's what you'll need as far as tools go. My circular saw to rip down my 2x4s, but again, you can just buy 2x2s. Clamps are always helpful. A drill and drill bits, and this is if you're not gonna use a nail gun. Tape measure, that one speaks for itself. Here's a nail gun that I used. It's a siding nailer, so specifically used for siding and fencing like this. Again, not necessary. Screws and a drill would work perfectly. A few more things. Your screws, I would use deck screws, probably 1.25 inches, a razor blade or scissors of some sort, and something to make straight lines. Again, you can get away with a lot less for this project, but this is what I used. First off, I took these 8-foot dog-eared fence posts and cut 8 pieces at 22 inches. This fence posting is great because it's cheap, thin, and obviously, because it's used for fencing, pressure treated, AKA weatherproof. Then I took these 1x2s and cut them at 22 as well. You'll need about 10 of these. Then I took my 2x2s and I cut 6 of these at 32 inches. These will be used for the legs of our garden bed. Now you can see what we have here. I'm gonna lay it all out on the table. And something I really didn't need to cut was these 6-foot fence posts. You should take the dog-eared part off one end just so it's flush, but other than that, you can keep them full length. Once you have all your pieces, you can start assembling. First, lay 2 long fence posts horizontally across 2 of your legs. Leave about 5/8 on either side. As you can see here, I just used a scrap piece of fencing to make sure it was flush. Once you feel good about that and square it up with the top, secure it using your drill or nail gun. Use a tape measure to get center and put a leg in the middle as well. You're gonna do that same thing one more time so you have 2 sides like this. After you do that, you can put on your sides. These are those pieces that you cut that are 22 inches. After you attach those on both sides, you can do the same thing in the middle. At this point, you should start to feel and see the garden box come to shape and get quite a bit sturdier. After you do that, flip the garden box over. And I think I did actually just a little slow pan here to give you a good look of what it looks like so far, a few different angles. Once you feel good about it, you can get rid of your table/workspace and bring the garden box to the ground. All right, if you're still with me, thank you. Also, subscribe if you feel like it. If you don't, that's fine. Continue watching. No harm, no foul. However, I'll say we're about halfway done. Obviously, I framed it all up. The hard part is over. It's sturdy, it's structural. We're gonna make it to the finish line. But right now, you would put dirt in it and it would just fall right through. So we're gonna create a frame for the bottom. We're gonna use some chicken wire, some netting. This allows for drainage, and so it really withstands the test of time. All right, back to it. Cut 4 more 2x2s, as I did here, to fit in between your 2 openings. This is to make a ledge for the ribbing that will go down to hold the dirt. Once you cut all 4 of those and secure them, this is where a clamp came in handy. Then you'll be good to take those 1x2 ribbings that you cut and start to lay them on top. Before I did that, I got out my sander because these green marks on the top of the treated lumber were really bothering me. So I zipped those off really quickly and then moved on to the ribbing. Earlier I said about 10. You can cut more or less depending on how much dirt you plan to put in here and how secure you want to make it. Secure those using screws or nails, and then pick up something like this. This is 10X garden fencing. I picked it up at Lowe's. Something like this or chicken wire is what we're going for here. Open it up, size it out, cut your piece. After you secure that really well, do the same on the other side, and then you get to put in a little weed barrier. Not that there should be a lot of weeds, but this will help hold the dirt and drain the water consistently. Again, I got this at Lowe's. The brand was Stay Green and it cost about 15 bucks. The same process goes for this. Cut it out, staple it in, and I stapled it about half the height, but you really want to staple it as high as you think you may be putting dirt in. Do the same thing on both sides, and then I'll come off of this time lapse to show you guys how it turned out. All right, let's check out the finished product. Honestly, I'm pleased. I feel like it will serve its purpose. We're not gonna grow anything huge in here, no pumpkins or watermelons, some herbs, cucumbers, tomatoes, your small garden essentials. I've been wanting to do this for a while. It was a really easy project and quite affordable, if I might say. I'm not too old yet, but for some reason I have a bad back, so I like the fact that they're elevated. You don't have to be on your knees, crouching down. It's at the optimal height for gardening, in my opinion. Okay, I'm rambling. This is the elevated garden box. Hope it was helpful. Anyways, until next time, see you guys later.